All right, I want you to just look at this picture up here first. What do you see when you look in this picture? What's something that you see in this picture when you look into it? Ari, what's something that you see? Okay. Is this something that you could see in real life? Could you really see leopards dressed in clothes and looks like they're sitting out on the porch having a good time? Okay? This is called, everybody say it, this is called a fantasy. Fantasy, okay? Fantasy is a type of genre. You're going to hear that word a lot in second grade. The word is genre. It's spelled G-E-N-R-E. The genre is the type of story that you're reading. And this is obviously a fantasy because we wouldn't really see this happening in real life. All right, I'm going to read this story. It's called The New Kid. The New Kid. Have you ever had a friend help you when you felt lonely, sad, or scared? I was sitting on my porch with George when the girl next door stopped by. George is my parrot. I was trying to teach George to repeat the word hippopotamus. Hi, the girl said. I'm Jade and I live next door. I hear you're new in town. I'm Lucy, George squawked. No, I'm Lucy, I told her. This is George, my parrot. I couldn't think of anything else to say, so I just sat there.
Miss Sullivan?
Yes?
Rustin was supposed to have an appointment today, but it got canceled, so he
Oh.
will need to come down to the office.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
You're not leaving now, so. I couldn't think of anything else to say, so I just sat there staring at George with my cheeks red hot and my hands tightly clasped. I was very shy about meeting new people and very nervous about starting at a new school tomorrow. I must have looked really worried because Jade smiled kindly and said, "My mom says we're in the same class. Isn't that great? Everybody's really nice. You'll like our teacher, Mr. Walker, too. He's nice and he does great projects with his class." "I'm Lucy," George squawked loudly again, opening his hooked beak wide as he ruffled his feathers and flapped his wings rapidly. George likes to repeat whatever I say, which can be a problem. "George is a hippopotamus," George squawked. "This is George," I repeated. "I taught him that." Then George decided to quietly eat an apple slice. That was a huge relief because George can be extremely embarrassing. "Peace at last," I said, as Jade and I laughed about George's squawking. Suddenly, Jade's mom called to her. "I need to go," Jade said. "I'll save you a seat tomorrow if I get to school first," Jade shouted as she ran home. "Promise?" I shouted back. "Absolutely," Jade said. Then she ran through the grass and across the small garden, turning and waving as her mom called again. I was still nervous about school, but I thought it might not be as bad as I first thought. Jade kept her promise the next day. She saved me a seat in the front row. "My name is Mr. Walker," our teacher said, "and we have a new student this year. Tell us something about yourself, Lucy." I wanted to shrink to the size of a bug and crawl under my desk. My face must have turned bright red with a look of panic because Jade started talking really fast. "Lucy lives next door. She's my friend, and she's really nice, and her parrot George knows how to say all kinds of ridiculous, bizarre things." Suddenly, everybody was laughing and talking about George. I want to meet George, someone said. Can Lucy bring George to school, someone asked. That's a great idea, Mr. Walker said. We'll all meet George tomorrow. Bring George to school. What would the other kids think if George said something embarrassing? I wondered. Don't worry, Jade whispered. I'll help you. It took me a long time to fall asleep that night. I kept trying to remember all the embarrassing things George had heard me say. I wondered if he would embarrass me tomorrow. My dad and I took George to school the next day. Say hello to George, class, Mr. Walker said. Hello, George, everybody called. Hello, George, George squawked. Everybody laughed. George is a hippopotamus, Jade shouted. George is a hippopotamus, George squawked. Everybody clapped. After that, there was an awkward silence because George stopped talking, which was fine with me. I was still afraid he might say something outrageous. Then some of the other kids began talking to me. They asked if I wanted to play with them at recess. Dad took his time getting George's cage ready. Eventually, they were leaving, and I began to relax. Good job, George, Mr. Walker called. Good job, George, everyone shouted. Good job, George, George squawked. Thanks for everything, Jade, I said. Thanks for helping me. Jade said, that's what friends are for. I was so happy. The first 2 days at my new school were turning out to be 2 of the best days ever. So we could see in here that Jade ended up being a really good friend to Lucy, right? And so we know how important it is to have good friendship. Well, that's what our story in this whole section for the next 2 weeks is going to be about. It's going to be about friendship and how we can help other people out as friends. Just like Harper being a new student at our school. It can be kind of scary sometimes, but she's fit right in with everyone. You guys have welcomed her, you've played with her, and she feels, I think she feels very welcome here because you guys were really good about making her feel at home here at school. All right, first we're going to look at some words, and then I'm going to introduce to you the first 8 vocabulary words as well. All right, let's look at this word. This word is? Boy. Small. Where. Oh, it looks like where. It's were, okay? Where has an H in it, right? So it's like they were going, okay? You'll be tested on all those words at some point, okay? All right, well, let's look at our new 8 words this week. Our first word is nervously, okay? You can see the little swimmer in this picture is nervous about probably getting ready to race in a swim meet, okay? So when you feel nervously, sometimes you feel those little butterflies in your stomach. Have you ever heard that phrase used before? That's called an idiom, by the way. So sometimes when your tummy kind of hurts a little bit, especially those first days of school, it's because you're nervous, okay? So nervously means that you're kind of on edge a little bit, you're scared a little bit. You do it in a scared or worried way. All right, our second word is secret, okay? If it's a secret, then it's usually not known by very many people, is it? If I tell Trinity a secret, she and I are the only 2 that know that, okay? So a secret is something that's not known by very many people, a secret. All right, next word. All right, next word is rescue. If you rescue something, you're saving it from danger. Okay, you're saving something from danger. So you can see someone is rescuing this cat out of the tree, and we would use the word rescue. So to save something from danger would be rescue. Our next word is depend. And this is when I think about that friend. Sometimes you depend on someone to help you, don't you? You guys depend on your parents or your grandparents, whoever you live with, to make sure you have clothes and food and shelter. Okay, you depend on them, don't you? As you get older, you'll find that you also depend on friends to help you. Okay, when you're sad or when you're lonely, you might depend on that friend. Our next word is actions. Actions is something that you do. You can see in this picture the girl is kicking a soccer ball, so whatever it is that you do is the action. If I'm playing baseball, I might be throwing, and throwing might be my action. It might be kicking, it might be singing, it might be dancing, it might be jogging, it might be driving, it might be writing, it might be reading. Any kind of action is something that you do. Our next word is afraid. If you're afraid of something, it's just another word for being scared, isn't it? Okay? You can tell this doggy in this picture is afraid of something. It could be a thunderstorm. A lot of dogs are scared of thunderstorms. Fireworks. A lot of dogs are scared of fireworks. It could be somebody new watching them because their family's out of town on vacation. So that could be something that makes you afraid. Perfectly. Wow. I tell you, we probably don't use this word too much because perfectly means it's just wonderful. It's exactly the way you want it. It is perfect. Okay? Maybe there's something that you just love so much. It is just perfect to you. It's just wonderful. It's the best that it could ever be because it is perfect. And then our last word is peered. Look at this cat. Look at his eyes. When you look at something very closely, it means you peered. So maybe you peered through the window and saw an eagle flying in the sky. And you would be looking really closely. That is what peered would mean. Okay, so let me show you our words again. Peered. And we'll have these 8 words for 2 weeks, okay? Perfectly means it's absolutely wonderful, nothing wrong with it at all. Nervously is kind of like afraid. You're a little scared, you're a little uneasy about something that you're about to do. Some people get nervous before a test, nervous before they perform, nervous in their sports, nervous the first day of school, a new teacher. Secret, only you and one other person might know this. Rescue, to save something from danger. When you need someone for something, you depend on them. Your actions are things that you do. And afraid is to be scared of something. All right, I want you to take out your write-in reader, and we're going to look a little bit more about friendship. I want you to open to page 36. 36 in your write-in reader. Page 36. No, it's the little one with the blue ship on it on the front. The flat book. We call it our write-in reader.
What page did you say it was on?
36. So this is your write-in reader. Should be a 3 first and then a 6. No, 36. Keep going. Okay, 36. Keep going. Almost there. Almost there.
This is the last thing we did it.
Yeah. Anybody else need help getting that page? Anybody there? All right. So if we look at this picture here, let's look at our essential question up here. Here's that word again, depend. How do friends depend on each other? What do you think's happening in this picture that they're depending on each other? What do you think they might be doing, Arya? Say it again. All right, they might be trying to find something. It looks like they're kind of looking at a map, aren't they? You notice it looks like a map, and one girl has a magnifying glass over here, and they're depending on each other to try to find something. And sometimes that happens in school too. We depend on each other. Maybe we work on something in a small group. So this is what we're going to be talking about for the next 2 weeks, is how we depend on each other and friendship. So let's move it over to the other side. And it says, these friends are using a map. They are helping each other find out where they are on the map. There are many ways we depend on our friends.
I knew that.
Okay? We're going to write our ideas in these other, this is called a web. And it says, friends depend on each other. Okay? What are some other ideas how friends depend on each other? How else do they help us? Friendly? Okay. Maybe your friends share things. Could be one thing. You depend on a friend to share things with you. Okay. It could be anything from sharing a story to sharing toys to sharing time. Perhaps what's something else that we depend on a friend for? Okay, I'm going to have to come back there. I couldn't hear you. What else do we depend on friends for? Okay, we depend on our friends just to play with us, right? Playing together. Especially at your age. Playing together is something you would do with a friend. Okay? When you're older, you could depend on friends for a ride. Let's say your friend knows how to drive and you don't, okay? So later, when you get older, you'll probably depend on your friends to help you get places too. What else do we need a friend for, Ella?
Your friends?
Okay, to help them when they're sad, right? Or lonely. We'll just put help them.
I'm still doing plus 4.
That's all right. You have plenty of time to copy them. Help them. That's probably one of the biggest things we use our friends for, is to help each other. Okay? Whether it's because we're lonely or sad, or maybe my friend comes over and helps me move. Maybe I'm moving to a new house and they come and help me. Or maybe I'm having a surprise birthday party for somebody and they come and help me do the decorations. So helping your friends is another good thing we use friends for. Dax, do you know one more? Yeah, make you happy. We're going to put to make you feel good. We'll just put feel good. They make you feel good. That's what friends are for. Feel good. All right, make yours look like mine.
I'm almost done. Only one more.
Okay.
I'm only on the second.
Fill in those 4 circles, and then that can go back in your desk after that. It's the only page we're doing today in there.
I'm still on these.
All right. Everybody got that? Okay. Finish copying it and put it in your desk so we can move on, please.
Did the teacher say put that away?
Yeah, put it in your desk when you finish.
Oh no, that. No, I need to find my desk.
All right, we're going to move on. All right, in language this week, we're going to be working on subjects in a sentence. This is something that is usually something that some kids have a hard time with this. Okay? A subject is the who or the what in a sentence. So if I said, the boy was throwing the football, who is that subject about? Or who is that sentence about if I said the boy was throwing a football? Who's it about, Braxton? Okay, it would just be about the boy, okay? So we're going to look at these as a subject. So a subject tells who or what the sentence is about. So look at this one. The cat is white. Let's see if I can make it any bigger. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
The cat is white. This whole sentence is about the cat. That would be my subject of the sentence. Here's something you need to remember. The subject is always at the beginning of the sentence. Everybody repeat that. The subject is always at the beginning of a sentence. It's not at the end. I wouldn't say throw the ball, the boy. Doesn't even sound right, does it? The boy threw the ball, okay? So it was at the very beginning. I wouldn't say is white the cat. Doesn't make sense, does it? Is white the cat? So you always put the subject at the beginning. Jim and Pam like cats. I wouldn't say like cats, Jim and Pam. So you always put the subject. So Jim and Pam was our subject of the sentence. This page says, underline the subject in each sentence. Sam has a pet dog. What is the subject of that sentence? Sam has a pet dog. Who knows the subject? Aria? Sam has a pet dog. What's the subject of that sentence? Who's it about? Who's that subject? Who's that sentence about? Sam. Right here, that's it. Sam is my sentence. Sam is my subject, right there. That's all I need to know is right here. This whole sentence is about Sam. Okay? His dog can run fast after a ball. Who's the subject of that sentence? Jordan? Okay. And I'm actually going to put his dog. Okay? It's usually every word up into the subject for dog. So I wouldn't just say dog, I'd say his dog. This whole sentence is about his dog. Sam and his dog have a ball that is red. What's my subject? Sophie? More than that, it's going to be Sam and his dog. That's who that sentence is about. Okay? So does the subject have to just be one word? No. Subject can be more than one word. You'll find out the subject goes all the way up to the action. Okay? Hey guys, language is one of the hardest things you have in second grade. So those of you that are playing in your desk and twirling your pencils and your eyes aren't on me, this will be your lowest grade on your report cards if you don't listen, okay? Because language is the hardest subject in this grade. It really is, okay? All right, Mom and Dad will pet the dog. What's my subject? Carter? Okay, just Mom and Dad. Right there, okay? So I would put a little S up here. This is my subject of my sentence. Next week we're going to learn something called a predicate. Subject and predicate of a sentence, okay? Every sentence has to have a subject. Look at where they are. They're all in the beginning. This was one word. This was two words. That was 4 words. That was 3 words. It could be a bunch. I could say, Trinity, Ella, Harper, Claire, and Sophie are going to the park. Every one of their names would have been my subject. okay? Because that's who that sentence was about. So our subjects are always in the beginning. You don't see me underlining anything out here, do you? All at the beginning, okay? But look, it wasn't about has, it was about Sam. It wasn't about can run, it was about his dog. It wasn't about have a ball, it was about Sam and his dog. And this sentence was about mom and dad. So the best way to find the subject is to say, who or what was that about? And that's how you get the subject of your sentence. All right, I'm going to pass this paper out. We're going to work on a couple things. We're going to do a practice spelling. Okay, practice spelling. You haven't even seen your words yet, so don't expect to get a perfect paper. Remember, we practice the spelling so that you know what words you need to practice the most this week. Okay? It'll show you which words you need to practice the most. So you need a pencil. We always have 15 words in a sentence. We're going to practice the 15 words.
So you're doing this too?
Okay. Finished? Good. I'll get a score. Hang on. We're going to practice our 15 spelling words. Okay, please don't do that. That's today's math. Why would you do that? All right. I'll take this computer because I didn't give him his. Yeah. He missed the subjects of the sentence. He missed that one. I just did it up there. It's on Seesaw though. Yeah. Good. All right, guys. Now, this week's spelling words have blends in them. Anybody know what a blend is? We talked about blends a little bit last week. Anybody remember what a blend is, Harper?
I can't remember. Nope, can't.
Okay, what's a blend? Aria, what's a blend? All right, good. It's letter or letters before the vowel. Okay, so this week, all your spelling words, I'm going to show them to you real quick. These are your spelling words this week. Look at them real quickly. A blend is when you have a letter, 2 letters or more before the vowel. So, gr, st, kl. This time the blend's at the end. Ult, fur, tr, st, pl. That one's not one. Hr, sk, ulk. All right? You see where there's 2 letters before the vowel or after the vowel. Those are our blends. All right, we're going to practice these words. And then you'll be able to practice them on Spelling City today also. All right. You have one in your folder. I put it in there. Okay? All right. Here we go. First word. First word is grass. Grass. The grass is green. Grass. Those of you at home can do the practice test also. Grass, just on a piece of paper. Grass. So our words are a little bigger this week. Second word, still. Still. It is still Monday. Still. Remember, you have not practiced these yet. This is a practice before you practice. Just go to the next word. Grass is number 1, like the green grass. Still is number 2. Still. Still. Clap is number 3. Clap. Trinity, just stay with us, please. Just move on to clap on number 3. Remember, this is to show you which ones you need to practice this week.
What's number 2?
Still.
Have we got number 3 yet?
3 is clap. Like you clap your hands.
But what's like K? Or K?
Just do your best. Remember, you haven't even practiced these yet, okay? Number 4, belt. He had to wear a belt to keep his pants up. Belt. That's usually why you wear a belt. Sometimes it's for decoration. Belt. Number 1 was grass. Number 2 is still. 3 is clap. 4 is belt. Number 5, from. They were from Texas. They were from Texas.
Is that number 5?
Yes, number 5 is from. 1, grass. 2, still. 3, clap. 4, belt. Adeline, 5 is from. All right, number 6. Trips. This is more than one trip, not just trip like I trip over a piece of wood. This is trips, like my family took 3 trips this summer. Trips.
What was number 6?
Trips. They took 3 trips this summer. Trips. Still. Okay, number 7. West. West. The settlers traveled west to try and find new land. West. All right, number 8. Plans. Plans. What are your plans after school? Plans. Think of the word plan, but it's more than one. It's plans. Number 9. This is a review word from last week. We always have 1 or 2 review words. The review word is fog. Number 9 is fog. Just write number 9 right now. Fog. Fog is your review word from last fog.
And now 10. What is number 9?
Fog.
Fog.
It's probably the easiest word on the test. Fog.
Yes, it is.
There's 2 really, really easy ones.
No.
All right, number 10, house. House. I live in a brick house. Claire, stay in your seat, please. Thank you. House is number 10. I live in a brick house.
Is it just 3 letters?
Nope.
What's the number?
That's all right. You'll learn it later. All right, number 11, crack.
What's the number?
Crack. The egg began to crack. Crack.
What was the number 10?
10 was house.
Is it K-O-C? Okay, what was 11?
10 was house. This is crack. The egg began to crack. Number 11.
I don't know the last word in
So if you get all these right and you haven't even looked at them, it probably means you only have to look at your words on Thursday, the night before, right? But if you're missing a lot of them, you need to practice every night or spelling city, okay? Number 12, mask. Mask. We do not like to have to wear a mask at school. Mask. That one sounds exactly like you hear it. If you sound out every letter, you should get it right. Mask.
I don't know the last letter in house. I'm going to type it.
13. Yeah, 3 more. 13 is milk. Milk. Milk is a good source of calcium for your body. Milk. Milk. Milk is very good for you. It has calcium in it. All right, 14. This is the second easiest word on the list. Tub. Tub. She filled up a tub of water.
Is it number 2?
Tub. 14. Tub. She filled up a tub of water. Tub.
Number 14?
That was 14. Last word is little. Little. She had a little brother. Little. All right, now as we check these,
I can't figure out.
remember, only put an X on the number of the ones you missed. That way you know those are the ones you need to practice the most this week. Yes, Brinley? Yeah, some people are like that. All right, let's take a look and see how you did. All right, first word. Grass has the blend G-R-A-S-S. G-R-A-S-S. If you got it right, leave it alone. If you missed it, put an X on the 1 so you know to make sure you practice that word. Okay. Number 2, still. Still. S-T-I-L-L. If you got it right, leave it alone. If you missed it, put an X on the 2 so you know to practice that word. Number 3 was clap. Someone didn't know to put a C or a K. Well, in a blend, it's always a C. You don't have a blend with beginning with K. Okay? Clap. C-L-A-P. Belt had the blend at the end. B-E-L-T. Make sure your BD checker. Make sure the ball's on your thumb. Belt. 5 is from. F-R is the blend. This one sounds like a U, so you might have put F-R-U-M, but it's not. It's one of those words you have to learn to spell. It actually has an O. From. 6 is trips. We have the blend T-R, T-R-I, P, and S at the end. Trips. 7 is west. W-E-S-T. Check your word. See if you have west spelled right. This one sounds just like it. West. West. Number 8. Plans. Plans. Has the blend P-L. A-N-S. Plans.
I forgot the S.
That's all right. That'll be an easy fix, won't it? 9 was your review word from last week, fog, F-O-G. Everybody should have got that one right. House. House has a different kind of spelling. Has that U, you don't really hear that U in there, so H-O-U-S-E. H-O-U-S-E, house. 11 is crack. After a one-syllable word, after one short vowel, the k sound at the end is C-K. You'll learn that in your OG songs. C-K at the end. Mask. Boy, I tell you should probably see this word on every door of every restaurant you go to. A mask is required. You should know how to spell this word because it's everywhere now, isn't it? Mask. M-A-S-K. Milk has the blend at the end. M-I-L-K. Our second easy word, tub. Just like it sounds. T-U-B. Tub. And our last word was little. Little. L-I-T-T-L-E. Now, if you turn it over, we're going to work on some blends on this side. All right, so what we're going to do is you're going to look at the picture. You're going to find which one of these words goes with the picture. You're going to write the word on the line. You'll only use each word once. Then you'll come down here. And at the bottom, you got to find which word makes sense in the sentence. Tom threw the blank to his dog, and then you have 4 choices, and you'll fill those in. When you finish those, I want to check them, and then you'll get on your Chromebook and do Spelling City on your Seesaw, or if you have the Spelling City's at the top of your page, you can go to Spelling City Week 3 games, Week 3 on your games.